Hi, welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel, and today I'm continuing my series on the Tome of World Building by Matt Finch. If you've been watching this series at all, you're going to notice this is a slightly different setup. I'm going to try out a digital setup for this video and maybe the next few. As opposed to filming the real books, I'm going to be using the digital PDFs and doing my note keeping in Notion. If you like this, if you don't like this, if you think this is meh, please, let me know in the comments so I can adjust accordingly to make the most useful viewing product for you. One thing I noticed right away with this book as different from the Tome of Adventure Design is this one has just kind of a lot more talking about how you want to do things and make decisions, and much less kind of upfront dice rolling as part of its setup. So while that is the case, if we do need dice rolled, I have this little setup so we can get some dice rolled on screen. So that should help us to kind of get through tables relatively quickly as we need to. And like I said, I'm going to use my Notion here to keep track of what we create. So the objective here will be to go through the entire Tome of World Building over a series of videos in which I will keep kind of a document. This will ultimately be published as kind of a result document to go along with the material. And the objective of this is to kind of show you a tutorial kind of in action of the Tome of World Building by Matt Finch and Mythmere Games. So all that said, I hope you like these kinds of videos. If you do, I hope you'll hit the like button. Also subscribe if you would like to see more of these. Hit the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when they come out. These go out every Sunday, I think around 10 a.m. Pacific. And then I also have a series of flip through review videos that go out on Tuesdays. Those are also available a week early on my Patreon. If you'd like to join, you can go to patreon.com/WatcherDM. Or if you just want to support Watcher DM or find out more of the interesting stuff we're doing, go to watcherdm.com and sign up to our mailing list, where you get a new newsletter every 2 weeks containing all kinds of very usable, weird stuff for your fantasy or sci-fi or Western role-playing game, whatever. We've got all kinds of weird stuff. So I hope I will see you in all of those. All right, enough shilling, enough gilding the lily. Let's get into this thing. In the last video, I actually literally read most of the introduction. This is how big this book is, by the way. 344 pages. So we did chapter 1 already. Chapter 1 was pretty brief, and it just kind of went through the different types of fantasy that this book is designed to support. And we're going to dig into chapter 2, Cosmic Matters. We're going to try to do this whole thing in one video. So, Cosmic Matters, this book makes two assumptions about the cosmos and the multiverse. First assumption, the multiverse is very complex. You can, of course, create a world with only a few deities, only a few other planes of existence, and no other worlds, habitable moons, timelines, or alternate existences. However, creating a simple multiverse shuts down a lot of your options for adventure design. It works for writing novels, but when the objective is gaming, you're better off leaving your options open with a complex set of options. Now, that's fine. I kind of disagree with this. I think there's a lot of diversity and interest that can be packed into a strange world, like a simple world. That said, I do vibe with the idea of keeping your options open. And so the way that I tend to work with my fantasy is I will build something that is small and concrete and kind of known to the players, and then most of the rest of the stuff they know about the universe will be mythology or hearsay, or basically at no point do I imply to my players or their characters that the knowledge they have is complete or correct. But just like us, we all act like we got a pretty good bead on things. And so I like that as a way of kind of getting both of these things sorted out. But like habitable moons, timelines, alternate existences, all that stuff is very Marvel, very Marvel, and that's cool, man. Like, I'm not that level of heroic fantasy, I think, by and large, and I don't really do high magic as much. So we'll see what I can get out of this book. I don't think it's going to be a big problem, but we'll see. Second assumption: the multiverse isn't well understood by people in the material plane of existence because communications from deities are extremely cryptic. So it's a feature of most fantasy role-playing games that clerics and other religious-type characters can communicate directly with powerful beings beyond the walls of ordinary existence. But this doesn't mean that communications are clear or easily understood. The complexity of the multiverse leads to answers that have to be phrased in metaphors and specialized vocabulary not available to the mortal receiving the answer. So that's interesting. That's kind of what I said, but yeah, it's interesting. So, from the gaming perspective, this is important because it limits the knowledge available to the players, but it's important for world building side of things as well by making the priesthoods and nations of the world rely on cryptic oracular information. There's room for misunderstanding and disagreements, which drive religious controversy among cultures. This cryptic information from the beyond helps to create cultural differentiation, which makes the world an interesting place for characters to explore. I think that's all pretty legitimate. That's good. So we're going to go into questions to ask. So before we start with the world, let's start by generating or deciding upon a couple of basic matters about the cosmos. It's usually not a good idea to set cosmos facts in stone until you have to, but these are questions that will affect countries, temples, and religions in the world, so some basic idea of how you're eventually going to develop the multiverse when the characters reach high level can be useful. Is there a creator deity responsible for this world? So we're going to start by just punching that in. And actually, one of the nice things is I can do myself a good nope. You copy, you paste. Okay, there we go. There we go. Let's go to the beginning here. Get this over here. Is there a creator deity responsible for this world? So I think in my case, I think no. I don't really like creator deities. Especially, I guess I'm going to say I think the main culture, the homeland culture of the PC's religion does not believe in a singular creator deity. I think that's what I would like. Is there a hierarchy of gods or forces in the multiverse? And I think the answer to this question is likely going to be a yes. I think that works for the kind of game I want to build. So let's read what it says about each of these questions, having given already an answer myself. So the greater deity is of a world. Needn't it be the creator of the entire multiverse? Several deities might be out there creating worlds. If the answer is yes, then there's a section of this chapter on creator deities because they tend to be different than the ordinary deities. Okay, so for the purposes of exploring this book, we're going to say yes because I want to check out all these tables. I want to check them out. So we're going to get in there. So I'm changing my answer, which is nice. We don't have to, nothing's in stone, right? Different than the ordinary deities. Okay, Grantswell's plot. Is there a hierarchy? The hierarchies of power in the multiverse can affect the relationships of temples, religions, and countries in the world, which is why it's potentially useful to create an outline before beginning world creation. Hierarchy doesn't mean a division between greater or lesser gods, which isn't really important for the world building. It means the arrangement of the following categories of beings, and whether the multiverse even contains such beings. So I think we can even get down to, yeah, we want some cosmic forces aligned to different things. So we're going to say cosmic forces aligned to chaos and law, just because it's a fun trope. It's good for my spirit, and I like it. I like the way that works. So we're gonna go with that. We are going for a creator deity, so that'll be another. Lesser creator deities who create worlds. I think we can skip that. deities that cannot be worshipped by mortals. Deities that cannot be worshipped by mortals. I wonder what that means. Ordinary deities with whom mortals interact. I don't know why all this is capital cased. Feels weird. Is deity supposed to be capital cased? Seems weird, right? Whatever. They are past the editing phase of the book. Deities that reside in the material plane of existence. Okay. Deities that reside in the material, doing it, plane of existence. Okay. All right, I feel like we haven't gotten very much done here. We had creator deities and we got minor or lesser creator deities who create worlds. Okay, so let's actually take all of these and I'm going to turn these into checkboxes. And then we're just going to check off the ones that we definitely want. So I definitely want Law and Chaos. We're going to have a creator deity. I like this idea of deities that cannot be worshipped by mortals, though I have to admit I don't know exactly what it means. Obviously, actually, man, I kind of don't want any ordinary deities like that they interact with directly. So I wonder if there's more like a misunderstood kind of great things, you know? But then on the other hand, I like the idea of deities that reside in the material plane of existence that are like demigods and stuff. But they're not ordinary, right? They're more like demigods. So I think this is the spread that I want. And then most fantasy role-playing games include a moral alignment of some kind, usually involving 3 points. Chaos, law, and neutrality on one hand, or good, evil, and neutrality on the other, or involving 9 points, some combination of things. It's usually not clear whether these alignments are simple moral categories describing a deity's or person's morality, or whether they are independent cosmic forces that influence and possibly even empower the gods. If they are actual cosmic forces, then they are something quite distinct from the gods and are probably more powerful than the gods, at least in certain ways. This is probably the baseline assumption of games such as Dungeons & Dragons, since many planes of existence are alignment linked, but apparently weren't created by any of the deities residing in them. Yeah, I like that. It's also possible that only a subset of the alignments are actually cosmic forces. For example, even if you're playing with all 9 alignments, it might be only that law, chaos, and neutrality are actual cosmic forces, or only good, evil, and neutrality, which could be pared down to law and chaos, with neutrality being simply an absence of one of the two, or good and evil. Yeah, that all tracks. Significance of whether alignments are cosmic forces, significance of how many alignments are cosmic forces. Yeah, I don't want to read all this. I think I understand the problem here. And I guess my question is, okay, so this is the nature of those cosmic aligned forces thing. Creator deity of the multiverse, this being, if there is one, creates everything else. One of the things that can create is alignment linked cosmic forces, or even an intermediate creator deity. This doesn't need to be a creator deity, or there doesn't need to be a creator deity. The multiverse can come into being in other ways, including a random cosmic event or from the opposition of pre-existing alignment linked cosmic forces. And I like the idea actually that the creator deity is born from the churning of the cosmic forces, like born of the froth of law and chaos. I think there's a poetry to that. Lesser creator deities, which we're going to not read because I don't think we want to do that one. Deities that cannot be worshipped. I want this. This isn't a major decision, and it has very little impact on your world building. However, it's useful to know because these gods can be worked into the mythology, and it's a nice touch to have that Mortals must not say the name of this deity requirement. It adds a bit of richness to the world's texture. Gosh, yeah, I really want that. I like that. Yeah, I could do some cool stuff with that. We're keeping it. Ordinary deities with whom the mortals interact. So removing this category of deities can create an interesting game, but it will drastically alter the way most fantasy role-playing games operate. It's best usually to assume that players won't easily accept drastic changes to what they accept. Almost the same effect can be achieved by just assumption, but by the assumption that the communication from the gods are incredibly unclear. That's fair, but I think we're gonna cheat that a different way. So we're gonna deal with it via the deities residing in the material plane. It'll be more like saints, I think. And I'm also planning on using this for games like Black Sword Hack and other games where having clerics is not a default. So I'm not super worried about not having those. Deities residing in the material plane of existence. This is actually a major decision that affects world building in a big way. Obviously, there are going to be some legendary epic creatures living in the world, and this is almost just a matter of what they're called. That's interesting. I like that. Is the obsidian dragon living in that volcano actually a god? Or is it just being worshipped as a god by the kobold tribes of the area? In this book, we're calling certain super powerful beings gods, even though they reside in the material plane. This is so the book embraces worlds intended to have a more ancient era feel. This is what I want. Allowing campaigns that are more like Jason the Argonauts than a purely medieval mindset. And from the perspective of a world builder, it's only an important question whether these beings are truly to be considered gods when the characters reach higher levels. You'll have time to think about it, and there's more discussion about this later on in the book. Fantastic. Awesome. I think that kind of clears our first bit here about cosmic questions. We got to read some of it. We got to talk about some of it. We got to kick things off in, I think, a pretty good way. So next time we're going to check out the nature. You know what? Let's just do it. Alignment links, cosmic forces. Let's do it. Cosmic forces are a weird enough concept that some sort of analogy is needed to explain them both to yourself and, more importantly, to your players. These forces might be mindless. They might think and strategize like a person would. They might operate like storms or weather patterns. I like that. They might operate like artificial intelligence, or they might operate like a more limited computer program. That's interesting. Okay, we got our first dice roll. Let's do it. Boom. What do we get? A 5? Oh, artificial intelligence. Man. Okay. I don't know that I love that, but let's read it. The cosmic forces. Yeah, force. I see. Oh, okay. Interesting. I wonder if you can have. Let's roll again. So I'm going to put 5 down here because we rolled a 5. And then we're going to roll for the other one. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to say law is an artificial intelligence. Okay. All right, funny guy. They're both artificial intelligence. That's fine. You know, you don't want to talk about AI, but here you are. You got to talk about AI. Nothing you can do about it. Comes up in everything. All right. So the force operates by heuristic, creating planes of existence, possibly creating gods, creating worlds, and supporting deities based on the most recent data it has received. It is by no means perfect. Flaws can develop based on poor information, interference from other cosmic forces, including hacking analogs, and going down rabbit holes on a project. Interesting. I don't know that I love that, but that's, it's what we rolled. So we're going to go with it. We're going to see where it takes us. Maybe there's some cool stuff in there. All right, let's do our legendary books. Like the Necronomicon of the Mad Arab Abdul Al-Hazred in H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos, many authors in the sword and sorcery genre postulate that the existence of a truly incomplete and fragmentary manuscript which contains many secrets of the cosmos. Another example is the Seleno I'm not sure how I'm saying that right. Fragments by August Derleth, and the De Vermis Mysterious by Robert Bloch. You may also want to have one of these books at the cosmic level and others at the world level of your setting. This table generates names such as Yodharthic's Mystery, or the Yodharthic Mysteries, or the Oldrashic Fragments, and Suel-Shemic Tablets. So, okay. Yeah, let's let's give this thing a bang, huh? Yeah, let's roll this. So, first word, first part. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Boom. Got a 37. So we're going to put in 37, comma, and we're going to roll again. 51. And we're going to roll again. And we got 8. So, 37 is going to be Pa. 51 is going to be Gaelic. Pangalic. And then 8 is going to be Grimoire. Pangalic Grimoire. Okay. Yeah, I don't hate it. That's fine. That is just fine. Where is this book? Where's the book? Roll separately for each column. We got a D20 here, so we change out the die. So we're going to go, just going to roll 3 of them, line them up, bam. And yeah, we got 13, 19, 18. And that means it is at this. It is in the sacristy of the Cathedral of, and what we got, 19 Yayalu. Oh, whoops. No. Yayalu. Cathedral of Yayalu. Okay. All right. Wow. Stranger things than books. What is this for? Instructions. Roll independently for each column for sources such as the awakened stones of Most Shai. Oh, I like that. Let's get some more. Let's get some more stuff. What is this? Another D20 table? All right, let's do it. So I'm going to clear these. We need 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you guys think? You like this new dice toy I got? You think Crispy from Table Runner Crispy for turning me on to it. Sophie's Dice. It's pretty sweet, I've got to say. I was pleased with how easy it was to set up. I like the way it looks. I like the way it works. So what did we get here? We got 9. Singing. 18. Automaton. I like that. Automaton of, we got 16. This Tar. And 6. Tarhartha. Oh, I like that. The singing automaton of Tarhartha. That sounds like a legendary thing. You have to go to it and listen to its song to arrive at some truths. Or maybe like an old sage has already gone and done this, and that's where like knowledge of this kind of stuff has come from. That's what they say, right? I like that. You must find the singing automaton of Tarhartha. Like, that's just great. All right, arrival on this world. I think we cleared chapter 2 all inside of a video. This is great. We're going to be a little long in the video. It's 25 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm glad you hung out this long. If you did hang out this long, you should hit the like button. Maybe share this with a friend. Send it to your enemy. They'd hate to find me in their inbox. Trust. All right. Arrival on this world. Another thing that you may want to determine before starting to detail the world is the question of how people came to be. Perhaps they evolved, and perhaps they were created by the gods. However, in a sword and sorcery or heavy metal type game, people might have arrived by space travel. And a high fantasy game, or one that's eventually going to be headed towards planar type adventures, people might have arrived from a different plane of existence. I do like that. So, arrival by space travel, the palace drifted through the stars, under and over clouds of flaming gas, across gulfs of deep black space. Rialto the Marvelous by Jack Vance. I love it. I eat that stuff up. So, space travel doesn't have to introduce much of a real science fiction element to the world. It's entirely possible, as in the Jack Vance stories of Rialto the Marvelous, that magic allows space travel without any particular high technology at all. It's obviously more of a sword and sorcery trope, including heavy metal, to have people traveling through space, but it's quite possible to keep that travel entirely within the bounds of fantasy. One way to initially populate a world is to assume that space travel of some kind has brought people from distant stars, planets, or perhaps as nearby as a local moon, like that. Whatever combination of magics and technologies those people brought with them has been lost, either through different conditions on the new world, the magic doesn't work properly, through disease, possibly an unanticipated bacterium in the new world, or simply over time with the loss of the support of a technological magical civilization. Another way to explain the loss of high powered magical technology is to assume that it was lost during a long period of travel on a generational type of vessel. I really want them to come on a generation ship. I do like that. Yeah. Humans came here on a generation ship. It arrived as planned, but 1,000 generations later than expected. The people had lost all knowledge of their propulsion technology as it slowed down for the second half of the journey. Pretty cool. I like that. I like this idea. Man, I'm not gonna lie. For not a lot of dice rolling, which is what I've been expecting out of these, is a lot of dice rolling. But this is good stuff. This is really great. I like this. Chapter 2 is very cool. Thank you so much for hanging out for a little bit with me. I'm going to clear these dice here. I'm going to switch over to a better little talking heads here. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like these videos. If you do, please hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe, bell notifications, Patreon if you want to get access to these early and help support the channel. And of course, if you want to get Watcher DM content, you can just go to watcherdm.com, join our mailing list. You can buy any of our zines, games, adventures. I think we get dice bags there. Or you can always go to Only Crits and get some dice for yourself. They're a partner, a channel partner for a long time. I love Eric and Rory. They're great guys. So yeah, I hope you do all those things. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you soon in the next one. Thanks for playing.